Hello everyone, and welcome to Graphing Linear Equations with One Variable. We're going to look at a few examples to graphing linear equations, and let's get a few steps first. Alright, the first thing you want to do is to solve the equation for one of the variables. I'm going to solve my equations for y if they have both y and x in them, to get it in the form of what we call y equals mx plus b, or the slope-intercept form. The next thing that we're going to do is to create a table and to pick at least 3 numbers to substitute in for the x variable. And when we substitute those numbers in, we'll work that side out to see what happens to y, or what is y equal to when x is whatever number we pick, 0, 1, 2, 3, or -1, -2, or whatever. Alright, so the third step is to evaluate each of the numbers to find the corresponding y coordinates, and this is going to create a point in what we call the ordered pair form, xy form. When we start looking at the graph, that x number will tell you how far to go left or right from the origin, where the x-axis and y-axis cross. Then the y will tell you how far to go up or down after you go left or right. So we'll plot those points, and then we'll play connect the dots. Again, if you need to copy these steps down, then you might want to pause this video here. Okay, so the first equation that we're going to graph is x plus y equals 2. Now again, we want to get x or y by itself. I'm going to get y by itself. So I have positive x plus y equals 2. So I'm going to subtract x from each side. And that will give me the equation y equals negative x. And that's the same thing as -1 times x. And it was a positive 2 here, so plus 2. So y equals -1 times x, or negative x, plus 2. Normally you would not see a 1 or a -1 in front of x. It'll be understood. Now this is going to be my x column. This is going to be my y column. I'm going to pick 3 numbers for x. So the numbers I'm going to pick are going to be 0, 1, how about -2? Alright, I'm going to take each one of those numbers, plug them in the place of x, to figure out what would y be equal to when x would be 0, 1, and -2. So if x is 0, then I would have -1 times 0 plus 2. I'm going to simplify or evaluate that right hand side. Anything times 0 is 0, so 0 plus 2 tells me that when x is 0, then y is equal to 2. That's the ordered pair of 0, 2. Okay, let's keep going. If x is 1, then I have y equals -1 times 1 plus 2. -1 times 1 is -1. Plus 2. -1 plus 2 is 1. So if y is 1, or when y is 1, then when x is 1, then y is also 1. So that will give me the ordered pair, or the point 1, 1. Alright, last number that I picked was -2, so I'm going to plug it in the place of x again. -1 times -2 plus 2. -1 times -2 would make a positive 2 plus 2, and 2 plus 2 is 4. So when x is -2, the result of y is 4. So that gives me the point -2, 4. Now I'm going to plot those points on this graph and try to play connect the dots. A little bit tricky with this pen that I'm using. So 0, 2, here's the origin where the x-axis and the y-axis crosses, right here, where they cross. So 0, 2 tells me I don't go left or right from there. Since the first number is 0, the 2 tells me to go up 2 places. So that's the point 0, 2. 1, 1, start back at your origin, go to the right 1 place and up 1 place, +1, +1. -2, 4. Start back at the origin, Negative 2 tells me to go left 2 places on the x-axis, and then 4 tells me to go up 4 places for my y-coordinate. And then we would play connect the dots. Okay, so I'll do the best I can here. I promise you it will not be perfect. There we go. And as you can see now, if you look here where we have, after we got y by itself, we ended up with positive 2 here. And also we picked 0 for x, which I would pick 0 in every one of mine if I was graphing single variable equations. 0, 2, that's called the y-intercept. That's where it crosses the y-axis. So that should help you out. Once you pick 0 and you get 0, 2, that's your y-intercept. That's where it should cross the y-axis. Okay, let's try a few more. Alright, 3x minus y equals 2. Again, my goal is to solve this equation for y. So I have a positive 3x. I want to move that to the right hand side first. And remember, that's understood to be negative 1y equals negative 3x, positive 2, so plus 2. Now I don't want negative 1y, I want a positive y. So since I have that minus in front of it, that's understood to be a negative 1y. So I'm going to divide everything, or each side, by negative 1. And that'll give me positive y equals negative 3 over negative 1 is positive 3. And then positive 2 divided by negative 1 is negative or minus 2. So the equation I will be working with is y equals 3x minus 2. Again, I'm going to pick 3 numbers. Pick 0, and how about 1 and negative 1? Alright, now you can pick any 3 numbers that you choose. I would pick 0 as one of my numbers. Alright, so that's my x. Over here is going to be my y column. And let's substitute in. Y equals 3 times 0 minus 2. Y equals 0 minus 2, because 3 times 0 is 0. So when x is 0, y is equal to negative 2. 0, negative 2. And again, that's going to be my y-intercept. That's where my line will intersect my y-axis. Okay. When x is 1, I have y equals 3 times 1 minus 2. Multiply. 3 times 1 is 3 minus 2. Subtract. 3 minus 2 is 1. When x is 1, y is 1 in this case. Last one, y equals 3 times negative 1 minus 2. 3 times negative 1, positive 3 times negative 1 would be negative 3 minus 2. And remember, again, that's the same thing as negative 3 plus a negative 2. Your bank account is already at negative $3. If you spend 2 more, then now you will be at negative 5. So when x is negative 1, y is negative 5. Alright, let's plot those 3 points. 0, negative 2. Again, we don't go left or right from the origin. We go down 2 places. 0, negative 2. Okay, back at the origin, positive 1, positive 1. To the right 1, up 1. Okay, back at the origin, and let's plot negative 1, 5. Left 1, negative 5, down 5. Right there, and you can see those points line up. And then the last step to this is to simply play connect the dots. Okay. Now we also have a couple of special types of graphs that we want to look at. The first special type that we're going to look at is where we have x equals 2, and that means that we don't have a y-coordinate there. Now that is really the same thing as 0 times y plus x equals 2. And even if we picked numbers, if we pick numbers, let's say for y in this case, let's say we picked 1, 2, and 3. If I plugged 1 in for y, that will be 0 times 1 plus x equals 2. That would just be x equals 2 because 0 times 1 is 0. If I plugged in 0 times 2 plus x equals 2, 0 times anything is 0. I just get x equals 2. And if I plugged in 3 for y, then that's still 0 times 3 is 0, and x will be equal to 2. As you can see, x is always equal to 2 in this case. No matter what you plug in for y, x will always be equal to 2. This type of equation will give you a vertical graph. Every single time, if you just have x equals a number with no y in your equation, it's going to give you a vertical graph. Let's plot those points. 2, 1. To the right 2, up 1. 2, 2. To the right 2, up 2. 2, 3. To the right 2, up 3. So there was really no reason to actually do a table here. If we have x equals 2, remember this is the x-axis here. We could just come to x equals 2 right there and draw a vertical line going up and down there. And that represents the graph x equals 2. If it would have been x equals negative 3, we could have come to negative 3, drawn a vertical line there. X equals 5. We could have gone to 5, vertical line there. So there's really no need to do a table when you just have x equals a variable, a number. Okay? This is very similar. Y equals negative 7. That means 0 times x plus y equals negative 7. Again, no matter what we plug in for x, you can see it's going to end up going to 0 there, and y is going to be equal to negative 7. So we could have 0, negative 7. We could have 1. That will give us negative 7. We could have negative 2. If we plugged it in there, we would still get negative 7 for y. In this case, y is always equal to negative 7. If I plot those 3 points, 0, negative 7, 1, negative 7, negative 2, negative 7. You see, this time it gives us a horizontal line, and it crosses the y-axis. Y equals negative 7. So I could have just come down to where y equals negative 7 on that y-axis and drawn a horizontal line crossing that number. And again, that works anytime you just have y equals a number there. So if this equation would have been y equals 2, then I could have gone to 2 on the y-axis and drawn a horizontal line crossing that, because y would always be equal to 2. It never would go up or down from there. Okay, I hope this video will be helpful to you, and I wish you well.